Hello and welcome to another video episode, depending on whether you're watching or listening to this. So, we're back for part 2 of my So You Want to Build a Forest School Business series. I know, catchy name. And in the last part, we were looking at basically it was me trying to dissuade you from this path unless you're absolutely serious for it. Because it is not easy in any way, particularly if you're looking to make an income from it, a proper income, not just part-time, pay your way here and there, which is entirely possible and relatively easy. But actually having a main income source from forest school alone is difficult, and it's important to make people aware of the realities that is difficult, and unless you are really on the ball, it may well be a struggle from the business side of you. So today we're going to start looking at the next steps. Once you have decided that forest school is for you, now it's I'd call this next section finding your customer avatar. This is something that's talked about a lot in business circle. Essentially, it is, what is your ideal customer? Who are you looking to serve, and what problems are you looking to solve? Because that's an important part of business, because people will only pay for something or buy something in if it provides some sort of value. And unless we understand what the customer wants, then we won't be able to provide that. Now, when I say customer, I could mean a school, I could mean an organization, I could mean a charity, I could mean a funder, I could also mean a homemade parent. Whoever you are trying to reach and wherever you're going to get your money from, those are your customers or your clients. So knowing who they are and what they want is really important. I think a lot of forest school and outdoor leaders kind of get into this a bit because of selfish reasons. And now, before you bite my head off, I'll explain myself here. So, typical path to forest school leader is that you go on a little bit of training, or you volunteer at a forest school, or you see a forest school in progress, and you see a forest school session and you go, wow, this is amazing, I would love to do that, the children seem to love it, let's do it, this sounds amazing, I'd love to spend my day outdoors. And then it kind of progresses from there. I can understand people who are sick and tired of office jobs or high pressure, high stress jobs indoors. It's not fun. And then forest school comes along and it's like it's fairies and rainbows in the woods. And so we're looking to set up a forest school in some ways to help ourselves. But at the same time, the forest school community is a very caring body of people. The majority of people who come into forest school really truly care about the children they work with and the people they work with. So there is that little bit, I want to make a difference, at the same time as I want to do something that fulfills me and that has heart and soul. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But we've got to be aware when we are doing something for us and when we're doing something for our customers. Now, our customers could be reflections of us. But if you're coming at forest school with very much, this is the stuff that I want to do and I find exciting, then you may well be attracting other people like you. And if you say your target market is children, but what you're offering is essentially stuff that adults would love, then it's not going to work out, even though you might have something really good, and you might have a lot of passion about it, and it might in fact be something positive. Those on the video will see that I just went under a bridge. There's audio. You probably heard it, the change, because I've a bit of a change of pace today. I'm on a canal towpath, having a wander while my van's in for an MOT. So getting back to customer avatar, it's really important to get clear on who your audience is, and as clear as possible, as precise as possible. I was on a call earlier today discussing exactly this. Unless you are a multi-million dollar or pound company, chances are your target market isn't anyone who might be interested. It's got to be a little bit more niche like that. Because if you try to appeal to everyone, chances are you'll very well appeal to no one. The key to succeeding in a small business in a local location is you need to talk to people. You need to write your marketing and develop your marketing strategy and everything as if, and people need to be able to look at it and go, oh, they're speaking to me. They know what I want. They understand me. Therefore, I'm going to trust them with my children. I'm going to give them my money, and I'm going to work with them. That unless you have that connection, sales isn't really going to happen. And sometimes we need to pare down how big our audience is. I am an example of the complete wrong way to do it, and I'll say it again and again. I have one of the worst business structures out there. Because who do I serve? Forest school leaders, well, woodland leaders, maybe some bushcrafters in there as well, homemade families, families with school children, schools that need intervention programs, and I don't know who else. I have far too many audiences, and that means that I either have to spend a majority of my week just writing different emails and social media posts and producing different videos and content just to meet that, or I just need to accept that I'm not going to be able to reach the depth and book out sessions properly in some areas because I just don't have the marketing bandwidth. Whereas if you can get really clear and precise about your target audience, then you can tailor everything that you market towards that. And that means you're more likely to reach the people that will truly work with you. And it also means that you are then able to charge more for your services. Because if people want a generic forest school, then they'll go to a generic provider. But they'll be expecting to pay generic prices. But if you want to distinguish yourself in a crowded marketplace, then you need to be more precise. For example, my particular area of expertise is practical bushcraft skills. I'm very good at teaching skills. I have a good teaching style, a patient, empathetic teaching style, and I know how to explain things simply and clearly. So, whereas I'm not good at play-based stuff. So, I'm not even going to try and compete with play-based stuff. So my offer to homemade families is, hey, we'll come and do tools, we'll come and do fire, we'll come and do bushcraft skills, we'll do some of the more unusual bushcraft skills, we'll do primitive skills, we'll make pine pitch glue, we'll fletch arrows, we'll make arrowheads, and we'll do bow drill and flint and steel and all these fun things. And I'm one of the few forest schools that offers that in the area. So when a family is looking for something for an older child and all they see is the 100% free play, small crafts and mud kitchen forest schools, they may not want that necessarily, Because some of the older children they want to learn, and some of the parents, rightly or wrongly, want more learning in this. And this is part of catering to homemade, is that in general, homemade families can provide tons of free play and opportunities for child-led learning. But what they can't provide is a fire out in the woods and how to use a flint and steel, unless they are in the space already. So getting clear on your target market allows you to distinguish yourself. And you can also then speak to them in terms of what their problems are, what their barriers are. So when I'm speaking to a home ed family, what I'm really talking and thinking about is what struggles are they facing? What are they looking to get out of things? It may well be that they don't know very many other homemade families. Isolation is a real thing. When you are stuck at home with kids 24/7, you may not have very many friends your own age or people who understand you. You may well have a support network around you with brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and all sorts, but chances are none of them really understand homeschooling, because it's a relatively new thing. Not very many people know it exists, and not very many people have practiced it before. So that's where I can then push the element of community, because that's an extra bonus for my sessions, is that you meet like-minded parents, and in my sessions you tend to meet really lovely people. So I will make a point of sharing that in my marketing posts. Now, if I was designing sessions around a school where the parents aren't present, then that community really does matter to them. Whether instead looking for something like curriculum learning links, or they're looking for someone who is able to facilitate lots of early learning objectives. So getting clear on your audience is critical, and it's better to do this early on, because then you can start to do your research. If you're looking to set up a forest school, ask people for advice, ask people around. Now, there's a caveat there. If you're asking the homemade community whether they'll commit to a forest school, they're probably going to say yes, but they're probably not going to turn out in anywhere near the numbers that you that said they would. It's just a thing. It's just the way it works. And sometimes, I imagine this is true for a lot of sectors, a lot of people are quick to say yes, fantastic to something, but then not necessarily be willing to follow through, particularly when price costs come into the equation. So, in summary, get clear on who you want to serve and why you want to serve them. How is your forest school going to be different, and how is your forest school going to help the people that it works with? Like, get really deep with this. Sit down, work out what your unique talents and abilities are, and work out how you are going to help the people you're working with. Because chances are there is a space out there that is unique to you, that will function well for you. But you've got to do the thinking and research around it. There we go. I think I'm going to start to wrap things up now. If you would like to drop me an email for some help and advice, I do try and answer as many as possible, because I've made a lot of mistakes. I'm continuing to make a lot of mistakes, so you don't have to. I'll try and share as many of them as I can here. If it's a really big thing that I can't cover in an email, I may well just make another video for it and send it to you. But do check that out. Do check out all the resources at brackenoutdoors.com. Got the TARPS course, got my rate calculator spreadsheet, got my activity ideas. You can go also see how I structure things what my marketing looks like, what other sessions I have going, and it's also a chance you can get on my mailing list there, and you can hear about because I've got some exciting CPD opportunities coming up nearer the end of the summer, including some exciting stuff with the tarps course. So keep watching, keep listening, and remember to make the most of every day. See you all next time.